The haunted dance floor. In the quiet, unassuming town of Hollowbrook, Halloween was always a special occasion. The air was crisp, the leaves crunched underfoot, and the moon hung high, casting a silvery glow over everything. But this year, something truly extraordinary was about to happen. It all started with an invitation. Mysterious and ornate, it appeared in every mailbox, inviting all to the grand Halloween dance at the old manor on the hill. The manor had been abandoned for years, and rumors swirled about its haunted halls and ghostly inhabitants. As the sun set on Halloween night, the streets of Hollowbrook came alive with children in costumes, trick-or-treating from house to house. But as the hour grew later, a different crowd began to gather. Teenagers and adults, all dressed in elaborate costumes, made their way up the winding path to the manor. At the entrance, a vampire with a charming smile greeted the guests, directing them inside, where a witch with a wicked laugh handed out potions that glowed in the dark. The grand ballroom was decorated with cobwebs, flickering candles, and a massive chandelier that cast eerie shadows on the walls. The DJ, a ghostly figure with transparent skin, spun records from a different era, filling the room with a hauntingly beautiful melody. Zombies shuffled side to side, their ragged clothes swaying to the beat, while werewolves howled and bats swooped overhead. Skeletons, their bones clattering, danced with surprising agility. Amidst the crowd, a mummy began to unravel, its bandages trailing behind as it broke free into an enthusiastic dance. Everyone watched in awe as the mummy's moves became more and more daring, leading others to join in. A Frankenstein monster, towering above the rest, clapped its massive hands to the rhythm, encouraging the partygoers. In one corner, a group of pumpkin-headed dancers formed a circle, their grinning faces illuminated from within by flickering lights. They moved in perfect synchronization, their eerie jack-o'-lantern smiles adding to the surreal atmosphere. As the night wore on, the energy in the room grew. Witches cast spells that sent colorful sparks into the air, and Dracula himself led a conga line, his cape billowing behind him. The dance floor was a riot of colors and sounds, with every creature of the night joining in the revelry. But as the night continued, a strange feeling began to settle over the guests. The costumes seemed too real, the movements too fluid. It was as if the monsters weren't just pretending. Whispers began to circulate among the townspeople. Eyes darted nervously, and the once festive atmosphere grew tense. Suddenly, a guest noticed that the vampire at the door had no reflection in the large, ornate mirror in the hallway. Another realized that the witch's potions weren't just glowing. They were bubbling and hissing as if alive. The pieces started to fit together in a chilling puzzle. A brave soul ventured to ask the mummy about its costume, only to be met with a hollow, echoing laugh that sent shivers down their spine. The realization hit the crowd like a lightning bolt. These weren't costumes. They were real. The grand doors slammed shut with a deafening bang, and Dracula stepped forward, his eyes gleaming with a sinister light. "Welcome, dear guests," he intoned, his voice smooth and cold. "You see, tonight's party has a very special purpose." He gestured to the creatures surrounding him. "My friends and I have been searching for the perfect meal, and what better way to find the finest blood than to host a grand Halloween masquerade?" Panic spread through the crowd. People scrambled to find exits, but the manor seemed to twist and turn, trapping them inside. The ghosts, goblins, and ghouls revealed their true forms, closing in on the terrified townspeople. Dracula moved through the crowd, his nostrils flaring as he inhaled deeply. "Ah, the scent of fear," he murmured. "But I am searching for something more. Exquisite." His gaze locked onto a young woman, standing frozen in the center of the room. "You," he said, pointing a long, pale finger at her. "You have the finest blood I have ever smelled. The crowd watched in horror as Dracula approached her, his fangs glinting in the candlelight. But just as he was about to strike, four figures stepped forward. Tony, Herbert, Kurt, and Billow, the best dancers in Hollowbrook. Tony, with his electrifying breakdance moves, spun into action, creating a whirlwind of energy that caught Dracula off guard. Herbert, known for his acrobatic flips, leaped into the air, his movements drawing the attention of the ghouls. Kurt, with his flawless moonwalk, slid across the floor, mesmerizing the werewolves. Billow, a master of freestyle, engaged the skeletons with his fluid, hypnotic motions. The four dancers moved in perfect harmony, their bodies becoming a blur of motion and rhythm. The monsters, entranced by the incredible display, couldn't help but join in, their sinister intentions momentarily forgotten. The dance-off continued, with Tony, Herbert, Kurt, and Billow pushing their limits, outdancing every supernatural creature on the floor. Dracula, realizing his plan was unraveling, tried to regain control, but he found himself caught up in the infectious energy of the dance. The more he tried to focus, the more exhausted he became. The relentless pace and the sheer joy of the dancers were too much for the vampire and his crew to handle. As dawn approached, the creatures, including Dracula, began to tire. Their supernatural stamina waned in the face of the relentless dancing. The townspeople, seeing the monsters' fatigue, rallied around Tony, Herbert, Kurt, and Billow, cheering them on. With one final, spectacular move, the four dancers performed a synchronized routine that left the audience and the monsters stunned. Dracula, now completely drained, fell to his knees. "You may have won this time," he panted, "but I will return." As the first light of dawn broke through the windows, Dracula and his minions vanished, leaving behind only the echoes of their defeat. The grand doors of the manor creaked open, and the townspeople, led by their dancing heroes, stepped out into the morning light. The old manor on the hill, once the scene of a terrifying ordeal, was left in ruins, a testament to the power of dance and the bravery of four friends. From that night on, Halloween in Hollowbrook was forever changed. The town honored Tony, Herbert, Kurt, and Billow, celebrating their victory every year with a grand dance festival. And every Halloween, as the moon rose high and the music played, the story of the haunted dance floor was told and retold. A tale of courage, rhythm, and the night when dancing saved the town from darkness.